Alright, happy Monday everybody. Welcome to today's Microsoft Flight Simulator live stream. We are flying from Olive Branch to Taylorville. I thought it was Clarksville, but it's Taylorville. I don't know why I thought it was the other one. But anyway, we are taking off from Olive Branch, heading up to Taylorville in the SR22. Small little prop plane. Should be an interesting flight. We're going to get in here, get everything set up. I think we're going to leave the live weather on just to see how we fare in this little plane. It's going to be a bumpy flight, I'm sure. But we'll see how we do. Good morning.
Tower Froggy 2377 ready for departure runway 36 IFR to Kilo Tango Alpha Zulu.
Froggy 2377 altimeter 30 decimal tree 1 wing 172 at 7. Cleared for takeoff runway 36.
Alright.
Cleared for takeoff runway 36 Froggy 2377.
Let's make sure all of our stuff is on. We don't need the landing lights on. Okay. We are going, I think our climb and maintain is at about 11,000 feet, but let's double check here. Yep. That should be our cruising altitude. 3013, we'll check our altimeter, which is right. Zoom in a little bit here. 3031. So there's two altimeters in here. There's that one and the one down here. They should be the same. Perfect. And we want to go to 11,000 feet. Perfect. So I think we're all set up with the flight director on now. And I think we're all set. This plane doesn't need flaps. Normally when we take off from the runway, now I tried this last night, just kind of tinkering around with the plane just to get a feel for it. If you start up from cold, you turn all the systems on and start up the engine and taxi out, the flight plan does not take, you don't get the magenta line like we see up there. So I decided to, we would have to fly from the, let's get the autopilot on.
Engaging autopilot.
Nav.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
Oh, it's not climbing. I think we gotta.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
Why is it not?
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
There we go.
Don't sink.
Perfect.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
There we go. Now we got positive attitude. Even more so.
Froggy 2377 contact Memphis departure on 124.15. Good day.
124.15
I was expecting it to be raining and stuff, but
Memphis departure Froggy 2377 is passing 1,100 feet, climbing 11,000 feet.
Froggy 2377 Memphis departure altimeter 30 decimal 30 continue as planned.
3030. Go. Make sure that one is correct also. Nope. Alright, I think we're going to have to set ourselves. We're not getting enough of a positive rate of climb out. It doesn't feel like. Hello, Amela. How are you? Welcome. I saw your post about the PC being ordered. That's good news. Amela's the first one in the chat today. Amela is my co-pilot. Welcome. Here's our little nifty plane that we're flying today. So to kind of bring people up to speed on what we're doing, there's an achievement to fly at least 300 miles, not nautical miles, but 300 miles in the standard edition planes. So some of the next few flights are going to be those standard edition planes, and we're trying to do a flight long enough to get that 300 miles. I think tomorrow's flight is the same. It'll be a standard edition plane. I know Wednesday's was going to be, but we've scrapped that flight because I won't be able to get home and do the flight in a reasonable amount of time. Excuse me. Yes, the 350i. Now, I think we covered enough mileage because we did the flight on the 8th. That was definitely well over 300 miles. But we're going to do this one on the 14th tomorrow in the 350i, and that is going to be Maldonado to Porto Alegre. I think I'm saying that correctly. In the King Air 350i. So I think that's South America. That should be a fun flight. And then Thursday's flight is going to be the long one. We are going from San Francisco to New York in the 747. So that should be a good one. It's going to be quite a long flight. Quite a long flight. That's going to be hours. I'm doing okay, Amela. Well, I think I'm doing pretty good. Yeah. Talked to the lady last night on the phone again. And then unfortunately her phone died. And so, yeah, we had a good conversation. Then on, yeah, that's good, Amilla, that you find, because I know you said every time you were getting ready to order, by the time you hit order, it was out of stock again. Kind of, it's like what happened with the PlayStation 5s. You know, you think you found a place that has one, and then
Memphis Center
you can't get it.
2377 is at 5,800 feet, climbing 11,000 feet.
Froggy 2377 Memphis Center altimeter 30.30, continue as planned.
So yeah, we had a good conversation. Unfortunately, her phone died while we were talking. So yeah, that was. But no. My love, I guess you could say. Not my daughter. No, my daughter and I haven't talked in some time. Which, you know, I'm trying to be patient about it, because it's she doesn't want to hear other opinions or other ideas or whatever. It's a very contentious issue that she, you know, it's young, you know, you're very emotional about politics and the world, and you don't respect or hear other people's opinions, and you just, you know, you put them down for their ideas or whatever. So I just yeah, she hasn't, we haven't talked in quite some time, so I'm just kind of letting her be and hoping that she'll come to senses. Yeah. So no, my somebody who I was in a relationship in the past, and we kind of drifted apart for a bit, and now we're back together, and things are going very well. We're talking on a regular basis, and it's good. So yeah, it's quite nice. So we just, sometimes we don't get a chance to talk on the phone because of her schedule with work and family. So yeah, eventually that's a very good possibility that so yeah, I'm really happy that she's there, back in my life. I always think that to myself, you know, it's easy for me to be and I don't mean this in a negative way, but a rock for somebody. You know, you're there to support them and everything, and I started to feel like, you know, who was going to be my rock, who was going to be my support. And, you know, it took me a while to realize that it was her, and, you know, we drifted apart back before, it was like the summer of 2019 kind of, and it was very difficult. And, you know, as you know, of course, when we went into the pandemic and everything, you know, when she wasn't in my life, it was very difficult. So luckily we have reconnected again, and I think this time it's going to be for good. I'm positive it's going to be, not I think, I know we will be, it will be for good. Let me turn the landing lights off now. There we go. Alright, we are nearing our 11,000 feet cruising altitude. Now, this seems rather... There we go. can see that much better. So yeah, it's unless things change dramatically, not so much between her and I, but just in the world in general, we're going to be together. So really happy about that. Now I think let's zoom in here a little bit. So this is an American-made plane from Duluth, Minnesota, I believe. Is she in New York? No, she's not, unfortunately. I wish she was. No, she is somewhere else. I told her, I said it would be really quite great if she could make it into the stream one day. So hopefully she will. It'd be really nice if she was able to. I said, I think everybody, I know most everybody would be very pleasant with her and everything. And, well, I know you would, and like Mick would, and, I think Bex and Sue would for sure. But yeah, it's a issue where it's difficult for her to do all that because of her time, her work schedule and everything. So, because I do this early in the morning, and it's not always possible for it to be a situation where she could join the chat and everything. But I'm hopeful that at some point we will she'll be in the chat. So I told her last night, I said I've talked about you in the streams already, so yeah, she's an amazing person.
For Froggy 2377.
I was telling her last night that I wish that we had met much earlier in life, and it's just that it didn't work out that way, which is fine, but I said I'm glad that everything led to you. But I said it would have been much better if we'd met much earlier in life and everything and built a life together. I said I think my life would be significantly different if that had been the case. But, we're from two different backgrounds, so to speak. But she's she's way more practical than I am in a lot of ways. Very smart, very, what's the word? Very, yeah, I'd say she's, there used to be a saying where if you're going to get married or you're going to be in a relationship, try to be with somebody who's a bit better than you in many ways, that kind of balances you out, I guess. And so we, she definitely, there's a lot more that she's very smart about that I feel like I never learned some things, even though I feel like I know a lot. She knows a lot more about things that I don't know about, I guess is what I'm trying to say, without being overly what's the word? Overly negative on myself, I guess. So, yeah, yeah, I'm really happy. You know, she's way better for me than I think anybody that I've ever met. Even though I thought, you know, for sure that somebody else was meant for me. And you know, I said it's easy to think those things because you have this notion in your head, you have this romantic idea about people, and you don't realize that it's not really meant to be, despite what you might think. And you have to, and I think it's part of maturity and growing up that you realize those things, and you just have to learn to accept them. And that was something that I struggled with for quite some time, because I'd always think, well, maybe it means that this, or it means that, or, you know, whatever. And that turns out to not always be the case. You know? And you have to be willing to accept that reality. A lot of people struggle with that. So, you know, that's why it, you know, I wish it was earlier in my life that her and I met, because I think, like I said, I think things would be far different for me right now than they are. But, you know, sometimes I guess you got to learn those lessons along the way, and all that. But it's part of life, I guess. So we're just having a nice cruise here. I know it's not super fast, but we'll make our way to Taylorville. I think initially so when I was creating these plans before, and I didn't really pay attention to the distance when I was setting up some of these flights. When I was working on this one in particular, we were going to go to Clarksville, which is over in Kentucky, not far from Fort Knox. And when I realized that the distance was not going to work, I picked Taylorville. So it was right around that range of 300 miles, or it's actually 317 miles. So I figured this would be a good flight to do. And so here we are. So it'll take us a little bit of time to get there, but that's okay. It's Monday. We got time. And I did advance the time because it's still, even right now, it's still dark out. Like the sun's, I just see a little bit of color in the sky now as the sun's coming up, but it's like it's taking its sweet time. So, yeah. So I think this is all in Central Time. So, no, wait a minute. We flew out of Detroit. We flew over Indiana. Oh. I don't know. No, when we flew out of Cleveland the other day, we flew over Indiana. I don't know. Yeah, otherwise it would be dark and you wouldn't really see any detail here. Yeah, just a small little plane. There's been lots of videos of people who actually own this aircraft who bought it, fly it on a regular basis, and they kind of show the how they fly it and everything. It is a pretty cool little plane, I think. And I think the fact that you have this flight stick is, the control is off to the side, not in the standard center like you're used to. So, yeah, I think that's kind of an interesting way of flying, instead of this, you know, you're used to the yoke or whatever being right here in the center, especially on most general aviation aircraft. But this seems to work, so. A lot of little municipal airports, probably even some small airports for farms, crop dusting, that sort of thing. Well, we're heading straight, but it doesn't seem like we are. It seems like we're going right towards the airport, not towards our marker there off in the distance, the first one, not the airport marker. Oh, no, don't worry about it, Amela. That's fine. No worries at all. Yeah, it's just one of those. I try to be practical about it and hope that that she will, I guess, in a way, come to her senses. But she's definitely her mother's daughter. I'll just say that it's very difficult to try to reason with her a lot of the times. You know, and I think all young people are like that in the beginning. They don't, you know, their parents or grandparents, you know, their elders, so to speak, you know, they try to be reasonable with them and say, look, you know, I'm not, and I tried to tell her, I said, I'm not trying to change your opinions on anything. You know, I respect that you have these viewpoints. But I said, if you want people to respect your viewpoints, then you should be willing to respect theirs, even if you disagree with them. You know, and I think when you're young, you're so invested emotionally that you lose that respect. You know, and that's what's happened. And I tried to tell her, I said, you know, this isn't going to solve anything. You know, yeah, it's difficult, but I hope sooner rather than later that that light bulb goes off in her head, and she might say, oh, you know, I shouldn't, I was wrong, you know, in my attitude. And I think that's the hardest part, you know, when as human beings we don't want to admit that we were wrong in our attitudes with other people. So, yeah, I just, but, you know, it is what it is. I still love her, even if we don't talk, and I just hope that one day she will recognize that. But anyway. Alright, we are plodding along here. Okay, so this flight is going to be about a 2-hour flight. 2 hours and 5 minutes from what when I did made this flight plan. It said about 205 total, but we'll see. I really would have liked to have done the whole startup, taxi out and takeoff, but I don't know why the system doesn't keep the flight plan in it. Like, we don't see that, as I was talking about before, that magenta line that indicates that the flight plan is in fact activated. So, hello, Captain Platypus. So, yeah, I don't know why that is, because it's not a difficult plane to start up, really. There's only one portion of the checklist dealing with, it's like all very simple, because it's a very simple plane to kind of, I think, to put into, to be ready to fly. The only other thing too is that when you started the avionics, this screen doesn't come on automatically. You have to manually turn it on with that soft key number 12 for some reason. So I don't know why that's happening. But anyway. I'm fine, Captain Platypus. So yeah, it's just rather unfortunate that we can't do the, start it up at the parking spot and then taxi out and everything. Slight change. Not a major change, but a little bit of a change in our altimeter reading. Try to keep that on point. Yeah, about to hop in the Q400 here in about. All right, nice, Captain Platypus. Yes, I mean I tinkered around with it just to try to get a feel for it before, but I kind of went back to, I just kind of left it alone for a while because I thought that maybe there was a bug with the plane itself about the flight plan not saving or not being active if you do a cold startup. So yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. But it's fine to take off from the runway if we have to in order to be able to use the autopilot features and all that. Let's see what other. Surprised Mick's not here. performers real quick to see if there's any. Any news or anything in the anything going on in the sim that I need to be aware of. Nothing new. Yeah, I'm surprised Mick's not here. Maybe he's lurking. He's doing Christmas stuff. Probably got me on the phone or in the background. He might not have been authorized to go to the cave. On it. My pen. Just I brought out a pen the other day. Now it's gone missing. What's going on here? Just used it the other day. What the heck happened to it? Oh, there it is. Aha. It's caught up in something. Okay. There we go. All right. I wonder if they had a storm and their power went out or something, maybe. So one of the other things that we're going to start doing in the new year, we will start, at a minimum, we're going to have to start calculating our fuel. How much fuel we need to take on board for our flight. So, you know, like, see the I have to pay attention to, like, the distance, you know, how the range of the aircraft for you know, how far can they fly on the tank of gas, basically. So we're going to start calculating all that, the weight, making sure that we're balanced if necessary. I think that's going to be something different to contend with. But yeah, we're going to start with the fuel, and then for sure in 2022 we're going to start. You know, kind of. That's going to add a bit more to the stream, of course, but. You know, those are all things, you know, you don't just get on the plane and you're ready to back up. There's a lot of stuff that's happening on the ground before you leave the airport. So I think we're going to try to kind of emulate that a bit as much as we can without being too crazy about it. But yeah, we're gonna start, which means I get to practice math again. Yay! I don't really like math at all, to be honest, but it would be, I think, a good thing to do. And so yeah, kind of add a little element to the sim. Now, speaking of sims, because I've been following a thread on the forums about the Xbox version of Flight Simulator and the future of it and all that. One of the things, because, you know, a lot of people, you get kind of, you zero in on one product, and I hate math. Yeah, it's always been like one of my worst subjects, but I'm learning how, how can I learn to calculate all those things? You know, like the fuel capacity, you know, how much fuel are we going to need for the flight and stuff like that. So yeah, we're gonna learn how to do all that as well. What was I saying? Oh, the forums, yes. One of the things that I think that people, now, some people feel like it's this other sim, X-Plane 11, and now there's an X-Plane 12 coming out probably sometime next year, which appears to be more stable than X-Plane or Microsoft Flight Simulator. There's way more aircraft available, but I mean, it seems like they're about even on what you have available to you. But it's hard to tell. So I know some people who stream, they play Flight Simulator and they play X-Plane 11. You know, and they kind of show the difference between the two, I think. But some people they don't feel like Microsoft, not so much Asobo, but Microsoft does not really care particularly about the Xbox side of things, which I don't think is necessarily true, because they said it's a Microsoft product. Why would they bring it to the console and just not support it very well? So it's hard to know how things are going to play out. But yeah, it's a very, you know, I think when I'm reading the forums, everybody's in agreement by what the original poster said, and they keep reiterating that, which there's no solution offered. Now, a couple people, well, there has been solutions offered, the solution being that Microsoft needs to make real-world Xboxes, not developer ones, available to third-party developers so they can test their product before they release it. The problem being that the Microsoft it's a security issue that they don't want that to be allowed. Now, somebody was showing or talking about the other day that, you know, if a third-party developer can send their stuff to Microsoft and you have a team with non-developer Xboxes testing the product and then making notes about what works and what doesn't, then that may save a lot of time. But it's very difficult to to figure out how to make that happen. Or if you have developers who are not in America, they can't just go to, they don't have the financial means to fly to Washington, the state of Washington, where Microsoft headquarters is, to test the product before they release it. So there's a lot of hurdles, and some people feel that because of those hurdles and in the inability of a reasonable solution, that puts Microsoft in a bad position. Well, I got 3 viewers. Somebody's watching. Nobody. Bella, last comment, I hate math. All right, folks. Spill the beans. What's up? What's going on? Don't be shy. Oh, thank you, Frieza. Oh, Joe Bob 87. Thank you for the follow yesterday. Yeah, appreciate everybody following. I know you're probably wanting to comment. I've enacted a feature on Twitch that you have to follow for at least a week before you comment. Please do read the 2 rules. Oh, there's Mick. Hello, Mick. How are you? And please ensure that you follow that. Those are the 2 main rules, especially over on Twitch. Mick is my moderator. There he is. The man, the myth, the legend. Watt Bickford. How are you, sir? Happy to see you. I was getting concerned when you didn't show up. Thought something had happened. Thought maybe you guys had gotten a storm or something and knocked the power out. So, yeah. For those of you who are watching on Twitch, please follow those rules. If you decide not to, there will be repercussions, and that will be that. So, but I do appreciate the viewers. Now, Mick, I'm just going to say this, and then I did watch. Now, Peter Windsor did a very, I think, balanced analysis of what happened yesterday. He didn't, I'll just recommend you go find that. Oh no, Mick, I'm sorry to hear that. So you're dealing with the house full of youngsters. So you were trying to escape to the man cave, and they were blocking your escape plan. Well, let me ask you, kind of changing the subjects, real quick. Go watch Peter Windsor's video about yesterday's race. I think you will find a very balanced analysis, which I do appreciate from Peter Windsor. He wasn't really picking sides, but anyway. So in the event of that happening, like what happened today, now does that mean that are they taking their classes online? So like they have to go online and do their coursework for the day, or is it just that they have homework assigned for the week and they have to do the work there at home, and then how does that work? Because I'm curious to see what is it they learn online, or is it a combination of things, or I'm just kind of curious to see how that is dealt with, if you don't mind saying. Because not that I'm trying to pry, but I'm curious to see how people are kind of contending with these situations, So yeah, I'm just kind of wondering how that works. That the schools send through. Okay, so they're not necessarily online. They just have like a list of assignments, and they have to complete that. But how do they? Once they complete it, then how do they send it back? Just out of curiosity. Because I find it, not to be weird about it, but I find this whole thing fascinating. How do people adapt to the situation, you know, and make the, you know, things like the, you know, learning still a viable option for students. You know, obviously the social aspect of school is it's hit and miss, you know. Oh, okay. Gotcha. You know, I think that's something that people don't necessarily I think it's considered, but it's kind of like a secondary thing now. You know, especially for those of us who are used to the social aspect of school. Whether you were in grade school, high school, or university, whatever the case may be, you know, we are, for all intents and purposes, we're social creatures. And when you change that social the ability to have that social contact, and you tell people that they can't, I think it's a very, especially for young people, it's a very difficult thing to understand. And I don't know that it's something that is taken into account in a meaningful way to try to minimize the psychological, you know, aspect of things. The you know, dealing with that emotional breakdown or
Froggy
whatever, I guess.
2377, contact Kansas City Center on 125 decimal tree. Good day.
Yay, we're talking to KC instead of
125 decimal
Memphis.
tree Froggy 2377. Kansas City Center Froggy 2377 11,000 feet.
Froggy 2377, Kansas City Center altimeter tree 0 decimal 29 or continue as planned.
29. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, I just think that's something that isn't really been discussed at length, or that when it is, it's not taken very seriously. And I think that's the unfortunate side effect of this pandemic. Alright, we're slowly making our way there. Still got some time to go. A little bump in the air here. Kind of right in that sweet spot for turbulence, I think. Yeah, I would really be hard pressed to try to contend with kids, and right now I'm glad I'm not a parent trying to raise kids, because it'd be, I think, very difficult to try to help them understand what's happening around the world and why they can't see their friends, and all the things that they were used to doing they can't anymore for at least until further notice. Crazy times. Southern Illinois, yeah. Huh. I don't think we're anywhere near Illinois. I don't think that, well, I don't know. Maybe that name is a bit misleading, I don't know. But maybe we're cutting across the southern part of Illinois. Hello, Chris. How are you? Nice to see you here. It had to be done because I'm at high risk, but the girls won't fall behind because they all break up on Friday for holiday. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I figured you. Yeah, you're in that high risk category. That's unfortunate, Nick. Well, you can make the case, and that means you can self-isolate in the man cave. I'm doing good, Chris. Had a nice conversation with the my lady last night again. Fortunately, her phone died mid-conversation. But oh, it was good. Here we go. Yeah, you can make that case, I think, Mick, that you just want to self-isolate in the man cave. They just need to send down the lattes and the sandwiches, and you'll be fine. Yeah, I forgot that it's getting close to the well, eventually I think that's the plan. It's just as I was telling Amela earlier, it's there's some I think we want that, but there's some hurdles that we have to overcome first in order for that to happen. But we were kind of discussing that last night, actually. And I told her, I said it'd be really great if she came into the chat and said hello, because I said I know Mick would be very, his usual charming self, and so she does have the channel. So I'm hoping one day she will. Part of it is it's just the time difference. Like a headless chicken shopping for Christmas gifts. Well, I come to believe that the gift card is the best gift, because then people can get what they want. Because you are... Don't say chicken, because Mela will start thinking about that roadkill chicken. Yeah, just some things that we have to figure out how it's going to work and stuff like that. But the important thing is we're talking and you know, being there for one another. So that's the important part. So yeah, I'd really like to, if she'd popped into the chat one day, but we'll see. But I told her, I said, you know, the chat knows about you to an extent, without giving away too many details, and so it'd be great if you came in and said hello, and you know, she definitely knows about Mick. My niece is mad about Stitch, so that was easy. Oh, are you talking about Lilo and Stitch? That one? Or are you talking about a different, like, sewing, stitching kind of thing? I'm not sure which you mean. But yeah, I told her about Mick. I told her about Amela. Yeah, I know you guys would... Yeah, I know you would. And I told her, I said, I know Mick would be over the moon if you popped into the chat and said hello. Because I told her, I said, you know, Mick is somebody that I trust very much. You know, we've interacted for over a year now and all that. And so I told her, yeah. Oh, Lilo, yeah, okay, Lilo and Stitch. I remember when that movie came out. I thought it was a very funny movie. I could see where kids are. Stitch is there. I'm starting to blush. No, I told her, I said, yeah, if you come in, Mick is going to he's going to be very, he's going to be a very wonderful person. So, not that you aren't already, but I said, yeah, Mick will be very happy to talk. Oh, I know Amela would be very pleasant as well. I know everybody for the most part. Like the people that I know that, you know, we've known each other for some time, I have no doubt that you would be pleasant. It's the new people. So, I know you would be pleasant, Chris, if you were in the chat. So, and I think Bex would, and so would Sue. You know, but it's the people outside of our, you know, our circle, so to speak. That's what concerns me usually, but yeah, I feel like that it wouldn't be an issue. You are famous, and at least to me. You're a decent person, I think. Well, I think you all are in your own ways. You're all decent people. We all have our good days and bad days, and you know, I've had my share of them. You know, I think we all have over this past year and a half, I guess. Yeah, I feel that you know, I can trust a lot of you. You know, and we have Amela. Yeah. So, yeah. It's the random people that's what concerns me usually. Yeah, exactly, Nick. Exactly. And you know, I think, you know, kind of looking at how can I say it? Looking at how recently, let's say within the past few weeks or so, people try to insert themselves into that circle without I guess in a way, without spending the time to develop that relationship. Yeah, I am right there with you, Chris. I would like that as well. Not only just for you, but I think people in general. It's a tough time, and you know, when you feel isolated already because of those sorts of things, it doesn't make it any easier to deal with. So yeah, I would hope that maybe at some point those sorts of things get kind of turned around, and some stability happens, that people feel more they can deal with things a little bit better. But yeah, I just noticed that there's a sense that people want to be part of that circle without just kind of playing it cool, I guess, in a way, you know, to I guess that's the best way I can explain it. So, who in the world are these people? I tell you, there's been so many weird people around lately. It's really troubling. Yeah, I try to avoid the crowds and everything. I don't like it very much either. I try to go, like, if I go to Walmart, I try to go right away, first thing in the morning, so that way I don't have to deal with a lot of people. Or I wait till later in the evening, if I can, to go. So I try to pick the times where it's less busy. You know, because people tend to be, you know, there are certain times of the day, and now certainly with the Christmas approaching, I think people get very unreasonable, and yeah, it can be very difficult. So, but where was I going with this? But yeah, I noticed that there's this intense sort of need to insert yourself into other people's lives in a, I don't want to say a dramatic fashion, but I guess that's I guess that's what you could call it. And they don't realize that it doesn't go over very well in the long run. You know, they don't see their own shortcomings with that, and that they're causing more issues, I guess, than anything else. So all right, we are almost there. We should start pretty soon. We should start sending. Probably one more marker. We'll stay at 11,000 feet, and then we'll begin our approach into Taylorsville. Yeah, I you know, I was telling my lady that last night, that, you know, I think people are finding some sense of relief from their problems, but they...
Kansas City Center, Froggy 2377, 11,000 feet.
Froggy 2377, Kansas City Center, altimeter 30.27, continue to echo November Lima, as planned.
27. Oops. We're at the wrong ambush site. I think there's what I feel is that they churned that into their own, yeah, but they instead of accepting that, Mick, they tend to dump like they lay out a lot of things that, and like if I say things about myself, that's my choice, but and part of that is because I feel comfortable sharing things about myself, my life, and all that without saying too many details. But some people go over the top. I was telling her last night that what Paul said about my voice being therapeutic, and I said, but how is it that that's up to us to be that? Because it could be a very dangerous thing, because some people they get so invested in telling you every little thing that they don't quite know when to stop. They cross a line, and when you say, hey, you went too far, you got to dial it back, they don't necessarily understand that. So I think it can be a very dangerous thing sometimes. And hopefully I'm wrong, but it woke up to 5. Oh, well, since that one person, I think somebody did stay here a couple nights ago that doesn't belong here. They're after you. So that, I don't think that person's been back since, but yeah, we've had a lot of weird people lately around the complex that were not here before. So I don't know if there's people who are squatting and they kind of tell other people they know who are homeless that that they can kind of come here and stay. They just have to be, like, my feeling is, if you're going to do it, at least have the courtesy to kind of clean up after yourself. Don't leave evidence that you were there, because that's not cool, so it just makes, for me, it feels like now things are unsafe. Take care, Amila. Enjoy your day. Be safe there in the city. See you later. Thanks for popping in. You're still the co-pilot, so you still have co-pilot duties, but that's okay. It's all for fun anyway. Yeah, there's just been a lot of strange stuff going on here, and I don't know what's I'm getting concerned that it's getting to a point where it's going to become violent, which I don't want to see happen, but I kind of feel like that's where it's leading to. I hope that's not the case. All right, 6,000 feet. We'll get a little bit closer, and we'll request our reduction in altitude. So yeah, it just seems like when I first moved here, it wasn't so bad, and it's just like it's gotten worse since probably even just before the pandemic. It was already starting to happen, and now I think it's it's gotten worse with the pandemic. And you know, I've tried to tell people, or you're welcome, Amila, take care. There just doesn't seem to be any effort to address the issue. You know, the police don't seem to be bothered with it. So I don't know what, you know, what would be the best solution, but I think eventually what's going to happen is that they're going to have to address it, because it's becoming, I think, a safety issue for everybody here in the complex. You know, because they know that they try to leave before, you know, anybody may come by. Not so much the police, but just like the maintenance people come by every so often to check some stuff and all that. And I think if they see people living in a place that they don't belong, they try to talk to them. But you know, I think part of it too is you're dealing with people who are not mentally stable, so they're not very reasonable. But we'll see. I hope it doesn't get to a point where it's going to take somebody being violent before they do something about it. Alright, let's ask for 6,000 feet.
Kansas City Center, Froggy 2377. Request 6,000 feet.
Froggy 2377 descend and maintain 6,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 6,000 feet, Froggy 2377.
Go. Should take us down to 6,000 feet. Nope, not necessarily. Not in a way that is going to be meaningful. Alright. Let's change that. Let's put that on. Make our own descent. There we go. Yeah.
Froggy 2377, please expedite your descent 6,000 feet.
What do I need to expedite it? Goodness gracious.
Froggy 23,
That's not very...
53 miles south. Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect RNAV runway 36 approach via Victor Lima Alpha transition. Cleared to Victor Lima Alpha.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect RNAV runway 36 approach via Victor Lima Alpha transition. Cleared to Victor Lima Alpha, Froggy 2377.
Oh, okay. I thought I had done something wrong there for a second. Victor, okay, that's the one there in front of us. Victor Lima Alpha. Alright. Whew.
Froggy 2377, contact Kansas City Center on 124.3. Good day.
124.3.
Well, we have
Froggy
hour 20,
2377.
so this may be less than a
Kansas
2-hour
City Center,
flight, but
Froggy
we'll see.
2377 is at 9,300 feet, descending 6,000 feet.
Froggy 2377, Kansas City Center, altimeter 30.26, continue to Victor Lima Alpha as planned.
Ah, that's not what I wanted. It's so difficult sometimes to get this to land on the right spot. There we go. All right. Now, why? That's interesting that. I don't know, that doesn't make any sense. Like, it had it at 6,100 feet, this marker here, and now it's back up to almost 11,000 feet. Or 10,000 and some change. Why would it change like that? That doesn't make any sense. So our nav approach, I'm going to try, I don't think I'm going to try to hit the approach mode on here. We're just going to fly it in by hand as we get closer. I'll just dump the autopilot and fly it in manually. I don't know that the RNAV would engage, so I'm just going to go ahead and assume that it won't and fly it in by hand. I think we'll be okay. I think once we get past this marker, we're going to descend, I think, down to about 3,000 or 2,000 feet. That's my guess.
Froggy 2377, climb and maintain 11,000
See,
feet.
that is the weirdest thing. Why would I go all the way back up to 11,000? This does not, this thing, like, it's very, it doesn't make sense sometimes, the way it works. You know, that marker said 6,000, and now all of a sudden it goes right back up to 11,000 feet. So I'm going to stay right where I'm at. I'm not going to go back up to 11,000 feet. That just seems to be really ridiculous. So we're waiting for our, we're kind of already in our approach phase, so I don't have the little thing to remind you to buckle up.
Froggy 2377, please expedite your climb 11,000 feet.
Nope. It's just going to be a waiting game now. Sorry, it's going to get kind of ridiculous now with ATC. There's that. Since we are where we need to be. All right, anyway.
Froggy 2377, please expedite your climb 11,000 feet.
I don't know why that changed all of a sudden. That doesn't make any sense. A little small airport right there. Probably could have landed right there. That's okay.
Froggy 2377, please expedite your climb 11,000 feet.
It's gonna have to wait it out. So I will be quiet till I get back. Well, you might make it back in time, Chris. I don't know. Before we land. Hopefully you do. That's okay if you don't.
Froggy 2377, please expedite your climb 11,000 feet. Froggy 2377, descend and maintain
Okay.
2,500 feet.
Descend and maintain 2,500 feet, Froggy 2377.
It's just a matter of waiting them out before they... Oh, that's fine, Chris. You don't have to apologize. It's all good. So we should... But I'm looking at the wrong one. Shoot. Almost lost the phone. Okay, so that's there. So we should have one more point, transition point. Jepub should be next. Past this one. There should be one more point, and then we should be on final. The town of Hurricane. That's not a...
Contact Springfield, approach on 132.57. Good day.
It doesn't sound like a very
Going to
ideal name.
132.57, Froggy
Where do you live,
2377.
Hurricane?
Springfield approach, Froggy 2377, 2,700 feet.
Froggy 2377, Springfield, approach altimeter
30,
30.22, continue to DAY area as planned.
That's a little bit lower than... Perfect. There we go. Okay. We are almost there. This has gone quicker than I expected. That's okay. I think I should start slowing down here. Being ready to land.
Froggy 2377, you are 16 miles south of Kilo Tango Alpha Zulu.
Yep,
Froggy
I'm aware of that.
Kilo Tango Alpha Zulu, traffic Froggy 2377, 16 miles south inbound RNAV runway 36. Kilo Tango Alpha Zulu, traffic Froggy 2377 is on final runway 36 to land.
Ooh, let's do this then. Oh, it's not giving me.
Kilo Tango Alpha Zulu, automated weather observation 2000 Zulu. Wind 182 at 17. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 1C dew point, 10C altimeter 3022.
Perfect. Okay. That's what I needed. Make sure our altimeter is set correctly. All right, here we go. Let's let the autopilot take us close to the airport. Should get our glide path lines soon. Have my missed approach information. All right. is our glide path. Maybe we gotta get a little bit closer. Yeah, we're still kind of far out there. This is going to make for an interesting landing, I think. Got some winds. So the elevation is at, oh, the runway is at 620 feet. I think, yeah, we should be fine just coming in the way we are now. Should be a smooth transition right into the runway there. Taxi off the runway and pull over somewhere and we'll wrap this thing up. Let's see, we could try to hit the approach mode real quick just to see if it works. No, it's not going to work. Or not. Nope, okay. Alright, there we go. I feel like I was fighting with the autopilot. What happened to our... What happened to the glide slope stuff? Well, that will make no sense. Wait a minute. I thought the airport was right there. That is the airport. Okay, it changed. Alright, there we go. Like, why did it seem like something changed? Now it has it again. Like all of our information just kind of disappeared. Alright, here we go. Oh boy, this is going to be a very short runway to stop at. Well, there we are. Oops, well, we had to turn a little bit wide there on the grass. On behalf of myself and the entire flight crew, including First Officer Amella, I'd like to welcome you to Taylorsville. We know that you have many options when it comes to your Microsoft Flight Simulator viewing pleasures. There's the ground crew waiting for us. We are glad that you flew with us today. Be back with us tomorrow in the King Air 350i. I believe we will be in South America. We now turned into a lawnmower. Yeah. There we go. There's our bit of our farm sim since we didn't do it on Sunday. Now somewhere clear the run.
Kilo Tango Alpha Zulu traffic Froggy 2377 is clear of the runway.
So yeah, let me just look. You know, we'll kind of get an idea where we're flying tomorrow. I'm gonna, once we park this thing. Boy, it is really a... Okay, there we go. And let's go ahead and shut it down. And then we will turn off the batteries. And then we'll have a look tomorrow where we're flying at. There we go. Avionics. There we go. Hour 37. That's not too bad. So there we are. Okay. Let's go and have a look real quick at our flight tomorrow. I'm not going to change planes. I'm just going to show you where we're going to be at real quick, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Because I know it's not where we've normally flown before. SULS. There we go. There's part 1. And then I think we're on, yeah, 08, which is this one. And we're going to SBPA right there. And we're landing on runway 11 right there. So there we are. That's our flight for tomorrow. Maldonado to Porto Alegre. I think I'm saying that correctly. So we're there's Buenos Aires, Argentina. So we are in South America. So there we are. That's for tomorrow. Anyway, that is going to be it for today. I will see you all tomorrow in this flight. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Look forward to seeing you later. Take care. Peace. Live long and prosper.